Good afternoon, Stacia. I understand on my way here that we want the vitamin S. And S is for sugar, don't mistake. The S is for sugar. Good afternoon, Stacia. Welcome. You're tuned in to Empire Radio 101.9 FM for another informative edition of the radio program of the Democratic Party of St. Eustatius. It's always a pleasure to connect with you as we share updates and keep you informed about the issues and developments that shape our island, our community, and don't forget our future. We have a full and engaging program lined up for you today, featuring important updates, meaningful discussions, and insights that matter to each and every one of us. So pay attention. Thank you for choosing to spend this hour with us. My name is Ernie Simmons, and I'm your host for today, and my colleague joining me in the studio is none other than leader of the Democratic Party, Ms. Raquel Spanakati.
Good afternoon.
Welcome and good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I think, I don't know what it is, even though I'm working, I'm feeling the carnival spirit. Is I have a little pep in my step, and maybe knowing the vacation coming up, it is so good to look forward to the recess and the break, you know, even though it's short.
I thought you was going to say you come to the radio station to get some of that vitamin S.
No.
Yes, it is nice and fitting. We have the cover of our program today. It says Stacia Carnival 2026, Small Island Big Crew, Stacia Carnival 62.
I definitely saw some of that small island but big crew things last night.
Yeah.
It was everything it promised to be, and when I say it wasn't, the performances were of such a level that I feel that as an island we are stepping up our game. The fact that they were all locals, of course, means that we can challenge each other to do better. And the quality, when I walked in, it was my first time in the Carnival Village since it started, and I must say I was really, really impressed. You know, the village felt small. It felt really small with everything that is going on, but it was a well-attended show, and I think most people were very satisfied with the level of the entertainment. Very well done, very well done.
Well, another word for small is cozy.
Yes.
Cozy,
Definitely.
Good atmosphere.
Yes.
People are a little closer together.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when it's too big, you know.
It takes away from that personal.
Yes.
You know.
So that's good. Before we begin, here's our quote of the day. Be careful, be aware, be safe. Be careful, be aware, be safe. Especially this carnival season. What do you think about this quote?
Very, very important. We have been saying it from the weeks leading up to this, you know, knowing that we had some events coming up.
Yeah.
It was a race, it's carnival for a certain period. And as we know, when alcohol is involved, you know, tempers seem to rise and people can sometimes rub each other the wrong way. And maybe something that you would have tolerated sober, you won't in your alcoholic state. So we are urging everyone to keep it peaceful, you know. And that is what I found beautiful of last night, even though it was, some may not have enjoyed it. I find the fact that we can safely bring small children and let them roam free means that, yeah, it can be on the other side disturbing to some, but I saw it as a sign of positivity that people feel safe to let the most vulnerable amongst us who can't defend themselves to roam free, you know, and that is also something that we have to view in a positive light, that our carnival is so safe, and I hope we can keep it that way.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, the children don't bother me, except when they start to pick up that and so forth.
Well, I was right to the back, where they were more out of the way of all the activity.
But sometimes they also have special sections for children.
Precisely. They have a trampoline where they can pay for a certain amount of time to jump, etc. So I find the fact that they catered to them in an area also means that because the children do support the carnival.
Yeah.
You may, even when persons are urged to leave the children out, they say, but these who make the event, it's the children that support, the children come out, so we cannot leave them out.
And the children are buying, maybe
Yes.
not using their money.
But
They're supporting the booths.
that is right. That is right.
Information Island Council member. We had a combined central committee, then after Island Council meeting. What can you tell us about it?
First of all, I'm going to stop thinking that the agenda is short and we'll be out of there in no time. We left around 6 o'clock that evening. It was a fruitful meeting, I must say. We got some things, we agreed on certain things that we got to push through to put aside some money for certain things under the racetrack,
Okay.
housing, the house that most of us know that grew up here on the field, to do some needed additions to the building. I'm choosing my words carefully because I was kind of upset that we still had GTI building. It's no longer GTI, it's ours. We need to find a name for it.
Oh, you
But
mean
so, through the farm, the building through the farm that we will be using. There will be some money put into that to make the offices that will be taking it more comfortable and probably add some space. And also maybe some repairs to the 3 offices that we want to turn back into homes in the Lodi area, which is in front of what we used to know as Cassie's Garage.
So they will be evacuated.
Yes, the
persons-
offices
The offices will go down to
go down to the farm,
Yes.
the former GTI offices. And, there is the allocation for some of the funding. It was nice to see.
The reservation.
The reservation, yes.
Yeah.
So it was, all in all, it was a good way to go into the recess.
A nice long meeting. I mean, it's a good way.
Yeah. The long meeting was productive. It was a long for nothing. We took some breaks because some documents needed to be revised and proposals changed so that it could meet, get consensus, etc. So, that took a lot of time, but I hope that the community took along the end result, which is the main thing. I don't think anyone sat with us from the beginning to the end, but the takeaway from the meeting, I hope that was clear. I hope I didn't, I was kind of annoyed, and I hope it wasn't too obvious with some of the answers we got. They were vague and unsatisfactory, to say the least. Even when not vague, we tend to trivialize things as a council, such as the water loss of Stucco being calculated through to the bills of our people. That is not something you trivialize. I mean, I hear it. I must say, blessed to have a system still in my home. So I am not connected to Stucco, but in a period such as this, I have to see how I get water. I have to buy or what have you. And my point is that in times like these, when our people are so strapped for cash and having set bills that they have to pay, because I saw this connection notice today from Stucco, Carnival or not, they're going to do what they have to do. So you have to pay that bill. And I find if I'm a small family of small means and I am trying to do all I can to minimize my use, and then I am still being billed because it isn't even because of my use, So I cannot even bring down my bill by being conscientious of the water that I use. And that I can't stand. I am all for people paying their bills. That's your responsibility. You made a debt and now you have to pay it. But me paying for something that I didn't even use, that is unacceptable. And the answer from, yeah, we're going to talk to Stu, or we're going to see what we can do, or what have you. No, we got to come better than that.
Looking into that.
Yeah.
Looking into that. You know, but the thing is, sometimes we talk like that when we don't have the figures. We don't know what the damage is. For example, if you have an idea what it would take to replace it in your mind, you will have a better understanding of what the problem is. If you understand what the water losses are per year and the amount of money that is being, passed on to the consumers, it changes the way you think about it, because it's not $10. You know, I don't know how much it is,
Yeah.
how much it is, but depends on how big the figure is. You have a better understanding of what it is you're talking about.
The thing is, I agree with you, Ernie, to a certain extent, because indeed you need to know what you're speaking about. But I think that is our issue, in the sense of that we, like I said, we trivialize things because maybe it's $1 or $2. I always tell my children $2 or $3. It seems, a small amount, you know, they don't want $2 or $3 to go to school, but that's a whole pack of bread.
Yeah.
You understand? So if a family has to pay $2 or $3 extra,
Yeah.
that's a pack of bread that you're deriving them from. You need to translate it literally like that so we can understand. And not only that, to some of us, $2 or $3, that ain't no money, but to others, that's a lot of money. I mean, come on, I am not looking in anybody's pocket. And like I said, people should not pay for something that they did not use, or that is not on them. That is completely unfair, unethical, and I can't even go on to say I don't find the consumer should be paying for losses. It's not their fault.
Yeah. Yeah. I got the impression that the report was rushed. You know, I can't imagine you have a 2025 report and it doesn't say 2025 on the cover page.
Yeah.
Because you make one every year. And everyone that I have seen has the year that it pertains to on it. So I'm thinking, from the beginning I'm thinking, did you rush this report?
Or maybe it was intentional. Maybe they didn't want to put it in the year to mess with the beauty of the cover, Ernie. We opened it one time, it had the year, but
Maybe, you know, but this is the impression I'm getting.
yeah. The way we received it, I do feel it was rushed, you know. From the previous meeting we heard, you know, there was a short back and forth between the chairman and the commissioner. Yes, we get it. Yes, we didn't get it. And, you know, and that was irrelevant. Fact remained, it was late.
Yeah.
It was very late because it was supposed to be discussed on that day.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get it. And then still for the next date, we still get it last minute. And like I said, if you want quality reactions and how do you say, contributions to the report, or even things that we can aid in fixing what is found, then we need the time to be able to read it.
Government spends a lot of money,
Oh, yes.
you know, and
Yes.
some of the things that I look at, right? As a government, you want to profile what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have, let's say, special, what do you call them? Allowances, special
Yeah.
allowances projects, you know, I'm not seeing that government is highlighting, well, you know, we did this, we did that, we spent so much money in this
Yeah.
and that. For people to get an understanding, hey, this is what we are spending the money on. You know, I heard the commissioner say, well, you could find the amounts,
In the document, yeah.
you know, in the document. But the point is it, are the projects that we spend the most money on, are these our main priorities?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I get the feeling sometimes we spend money based on what we get money for, and I mean, which is good.
But a lot of times it's earmarked to earnings. You can spend it on what you want.
Yes, it's earmarked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, you still have to find a way that to really get money for the things that you find is most important.
And not only that, like you say, for the public consumption as well, for them to be able to see and know.
Yeah.
Because even for me, when I saw Orange Bay still on the list,
Yeah.
we all have been driving on those roads, enjoying them, maybe complaining about the bumps. So for us, because it's all you can see, the community, you think it's done. So when you still see that as a major factor in spending, you want to know what still has to be done.
Yeah.
So it needs to be clear for everyone what are we working on indeed.
Another one was the undergraduate
Yeah,
thing,
in education,
which
yeah.
has to be the
GVP school.
GBP school. Erosion control, I see 2 million.
Yes.
And there's 14 million was available, I think, from 2024. So they got a balance of still 11 million they can spend on erosion. This AOC, I think, and back AOC station, erosion control.
But I guess as the goats, as we all know what it is, those are things that have been hot topics.
But do people know the amount of money
No.
is going
into
these
those things. No, they don't. And not only that, it was, when it was discussed, it was brought in a negative light, in the sense of because it was more about the killing of the goats. And not knowing that the money that was granted came with conditions, understandable conditions. So I don't know if our community got enough of the crux of the matter and the decisions made and why, and that we are still busy. If you pass on the bay and you take the time to look around you, you can see that we are still busy. And today I saw a business license was issued by the government to which the community can respond. And that is one of the main businesses down on the bay that we know from ever since, which is what we know as Blue Bead. So those are establishments, we welcome new business. The fact that people are willing to take the risk and invest, it means work for people, but they are willing to invest in an area that is kind of tricky. So those are things, you need to highlight those things.
Will be kind of tricky.
Kind of tricky, it's in an area where the cliff is being secured.
Oh, yes. Well, not tricky, but it is in a construction zone.
Construction zone, right next to where they found
that was my first thing when I saw that they fixed up the place and things.
Yes.
You cannot miss it right next to it.
Exactly.
But I don't know what the timeline is for that part to be covered, but once it's covered, it's probably
that is my definition of tricky.
Indeed. I saw here that 2.2 million was spent on Besonderheidsering Social Domain, VWS 2025.
Yes.
Social domain, that's a lot of money.
Yes.
And I don't know what exactly they spent it on.
Yes.
But they received that amount in 2025 and they also spent almost the entire amount in 2025. Also, I see they have 3 million, what they call Lake Deal Health Center.
Yes. That was supposed to
Is that like the new hospital?
Yes, and I think it was supposed to be as well for the joined the healthcare center, which would include the old age home.
Yeah.
And possibly maybe a wing for the long spoken about dream of a dialysis center. So there was research done on that too, the feasibility of it and what have you, but that was never really finalized. But that was supposed to be a part of it as well.
Looking at the amounts what is spending in St. Martin, I'm wondering, it's me. The amount seems smaller, but
it is.
Maybe it's just a start. Maybe more has to come.
But I think maybe, Ernie, this is about the building. Huh? This isn't about the equipment in the building. The building can be 2.2 million is not a little, and especially if you already have the property, the land, to just build for 2.2. I think it can be done. That is not the content of the center. That would still be another purchase.
Yeah. I missed some answers. I don't know. For example, government received 1.2 million euros to do strengthen the livability in the historical town center,
Yes.
with attention for seniors. I don't know if an answer was given to that question.
I think.
Because I don't see nothing. I'm not seeing anything, so I'm saying, they have the money there. Maybe they have plans, or maybe they're busy with the plans. But I didn't see an answer to that question.
I must say, I said earlier, I didn't appreciate the way we were answered. And I must say, I look forward to us discussing the way we receive answers in the sense of to the point. There were a lot of monologues, which made it difficult. You had to fish for your answer, within the story that was provided. I would have much rather a bullet point style of answering. This was asked, this is the answer. This was asked, this is the answer. So, as you can see, earlier I scribbled a lot, but there was not, it wasn't always easy to get your answer within the story. And hopefully, as we go along. But they did mention that the 1.2 they said was the renovation of the Golden Rock houses. So the seniors were not, that is what I have written down here.
No, this is something they got. In fact, it came on point. This is euros.
Are we speaking of this portion?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that is the answer that I fished out. We can go back.
But you see, it was
Town center.
town center, and so that means that it has a destination.
Exactly.
So I'm looking in the town center, what has been done
Yes.
for the seniors.
But maybe we will have to go back and over the footage of the meeting.
Yeah, no, because in fact, that was the next question, the one before. They said they had 1 point something million for the Golden Rock houses, the renovation.
Yes.
The thing is, if you renovated 20 houses in 2025, why would you put in your report you renovated 20 houses in 2024?
Yeah.
Tell me, maybe you make a mistake, instead of 2024, it had to be 2025. I could understand that, but to just ignore it as if, this is how much we do in 2025. But we're talking about a report that you sent to me.
So the total, in the end, the answer provided was 52 houses were renovated.
Yeah.
So 20 in 2024, 20 in 2025, and 2026, up to now, 12.
Oh, that's all.
Yes.
That's good. The residents are screaming for road repair. Everybody talking about
Yes.
the roads are deteriorating as we go, especially when I drive on the Mansion Road and the part, when you're just before Stuco, it's becoming really, really bad.
I
Yes.
thought you were going to talk on the other end. The piece right in front, the back of the hospital, that piece is horrible too.
Yeah.
After you pass the repaired piece, so both ends
Yeah.
are horrible.
Yeah. But the thing is, you underspent $500,000 in 2025.
Yeah.
Why, when people want road repair, there's so much construction going on the roads and this and that and this and that, with UTEL and SUCO and this and that.
Mhm.
How come you underspent that budget by $500,000?
And some of the money that we chose to set aside was for road repair, and it included the homes. I don't know what that area is, if that is Baybrow, which would be Minerals Old Road, the road just above Eardley Woodley, those in-between roads. They are indeed horrible, and maybe roads that people use less visible.
Yeah.
Also the road of Miss Alice Lopes. That one too is horrible. So all those small roads in between were identified for the road repair.
There was a strange issue in the budget where they say $1.1 million was overspent on projects, and it was allocated to projects erroneously. So somehow they put it on the project's budget erroneously. They made a mistake, and they spent it. And that is an amount of 1.1 million. But I didn't hear any answer. It's as if, to me, they just ignored that whole question.
Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
You know, but if they didn't make a mistake, I mean, the surplus would have been $1.1 million more.
But there were different questions. There were 3 questions, I think, that is skipped. The subsidies and financial contributions, where we asked them why was there no money on the Housing Foundation, for the Housing Foundation. They said it because it is directly going to them or something, I think I got. Then the 1.1 million, I don't think they answered that. And then it was the one with the tangible fixed assets, the investment of 2.2 million
in commercial
buildings in 2025.
But that's 2.2 million. You got to know what you spent 2.2 million.
Yeah.
I'm thinking out of my head, maybe that was the money. Remember the purchase the condos from the oil terminal, I think, through Van Huffelen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. that's the only commercial residential building that I know, but I do not know if that is the one they mean. I don't know if it has to do with the building and the hotel with the bought on the bay. I don't know.
Ernie, I must admit that, these type of meetings, especially when it comes to budgets and what have you, they always take time. They always take time. So basically the amount of time that we took is not extraordinary. But like I said, the style in which we discussed, the amount of breaks that were taken, it takes a toll on you. You lose your concentration and your ability to focus. And it can be that some things went over my head, but thank God we have the footage. So we'll have to see what indeed was answered and what not. Like I said, it would be nice if we can stick to less monologues, I think, I can say it on the air right now, as I rushed through my questions because I had 20 minutes. And in turn, I can see how it takes you longer to answer. If you answer in the style that I had to, we would be more effective. The fact that the commissioners can speak how long they want, it takes a lot from the time and the effectiveness of the meeting, because they take you all over and nowhere, and it gives the opportunity to inform you about a lot of things which would be nice for the community and what have you, but there's a time and a place for everything. And it took entirely too long. I think they need to be assigned a time as well, so that you can stick to the point and answer the questions. You take an hour to deliberate on the answers. So when you come back, I expect you to hit the ground running and just give me bullet point answers. And because like I say, you lose me. You lose me when your story is long. And like I said, I need to be fishing in your story for the answer.
Well, even what I find strange, if I'm answering one question and another question is for my colleague, I don't need to repeat that question for my colleague and say that my colleague is going to answer that question.
Yes.
I just answer the one. But one of the things that was brought forward is the fact that in 2016, the agreement with the oil terminal,
Yes.
the word is indemnified.
Indemnified.
Indemnified the oil terminal from having to do cleanup if they decide to leave. That was taken out of the agreement. And in the place of the terminal having to clean up the site when they leave, we have a reservation of $350,000 on our budget. And then the commissioner gonna say, but I can't do nothing.
Yeah, she admits to the fact that the amount of money would not be enough. And, but she did go into detail and say that a team has been installed to assess. And that was May, June, so I know.
You know, the thing is, right, this fund was built under the old agreement where the island government and the terminal had to both set money aside and put into a cleanup fund or whatever they call it, right? This is the amount that the government put in, so that is in our budget. Where is the amount that the terminal would have put in? And it, I guess it was equal amount, so it's probably that same amount somewhere.
What I'm fearful of, Ernie, is part of the answer was that research was commissioned by Van Huffelen. And of course, the things that Van Huffelen did in her time, it is impossible not to mention her name. The problem is if there are things that was commissioned, such as research, and we as yet do not have the documents, I am fearful of if we are still going to receive them. We should not be still waiting on this document. And then there is no surety, because we are saying 350 was from our side, government, but that is also not sure. So they're coming with a plan of action right now to go negotiate, because it will be up for negotiation now. But
this you can't get this back.
No.
Because the terminal is not going to agree now to assume that responsibility to clean up. After for 10 years,
they got away with
it. And it's also a financial burden for them. Because if I have this obligation, that means I got to be yearly reserving money aside, creating a contingency. If I decide to go, I need to pay for this. I got to save that money. So when they decided that it was no longer necessary, according to Dutch, they say health is very volatile. So whatever money they had reserved on their books, it went to profit. And I wonder how much money that was. Because we're talking about more than 20, maybe 30 years of reservation. You know, and
not only that, you know, we didn't get a portion of it either, and of course some things might not be clear, especially if details might not be always be obviously transferred, details of a conversation, because I don't know really who was there that is there now when this discussion was had. Why was this choice even made?
You know who was there? All of them.
Okay.
This is 2016 we're talking about. Remember, just before the intervention in 2018. So, all of them.
Okay.
All of them was there.
But then, do they recall why? Why would you? Because it isn't a matter of asking for. It is already there. So why remove something that is already there? You know, what did this decision benefit our people? That we are going to be stuck with the mess.
And I must say the DP was against it.
Yeah.
But they were in power, they had the votes. They even illegally signed the document, I can tell you that. Because and that is one of the things why the intervention came. The governor is who is legally authorized to sign agreements and to bind the island territory. The commissioner signed, and he didn't have a power from the governor to sign.
But then is the agreement then even legal?
Well, if something is in place for 10 years.
That is it. That is it.
One last thing I want to bring up, and you know, in the report, they give you information, but they're vague. They talk about the Orco Bank account.
Yes.
And that there is some disagreement with BZK in Holland, and I don't know if it's the CFT or whoever. Whether or not the way they earn interest on the account whether that is legal or justified. Or
Mhm.
they mention it so lightly in the report
Mhm.
that you would think that maybe we're talking about $10 or $15, only to find out this is something that could cost us maybe $1.8 million. In
Yes.
2024, we collected over $2 million on interest. You know, I find it a big issue that
It
they
is.
just so easily put, like they almost, you could read over it not understanding.
I need to look
What
back
it's
in my
about.
notes. I remember the discussion on this account, and I don't know if they were able to answer like what exactly is the
But it's simple.
issue for Bezaka.
The issue is they give you money to do these special allowances, these projects. And you take that money and you put it on a bank account and you earn an interest.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is, can you do that? Can you take their money, put it on a bank account, while not spending it and earn interest? And so I think it's a legal issue whether or not the financial rules allow you to do that or not. I think that's what it is, and they are in dispute about it.
Is that what we call in Dutch oppoten?
Yes, that's opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you that people don't like opportunity
No.
at all. You know, they,
You know, and that is why, I brought it forward because, sometimes I use the word a lot because the word is flung around when it's convenient that Island Council mustn't micromanage.
yeah.
We mustn't micromanage. We have to be almost, you just want to think, be grateful for the information that you are provided with. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you are the one held responsible.
Yeah, you're responsible.
And even though we are not allowed to directly steer and the Amtanarai or a project or what have you, and then we do get those, how do you say, those dressed up tours or what have you, when you see the beauty of what is being done, the good side. Of course, sometimes you can't hide certain things are not going well. The problem is that when I brought it forward in the meeting, I did tell them it's all of us responsibility. And you need to indicate sooner because we cannot leave this money all the time unspent.
Yeah.
It is not jokey how much millions we have unspent.
Yeah.
Taken into account, yes, we have shortage of personnel, yes, we have this, yes, we have the other, yes, we have to take into account whether that we have to ship in everything. There are other things coming in between that have priority, what have you. This can't go on for any longer. We are going to get a problem that at the given point we're going to say, we're not sending you all any more money until you spend what you have. And the problem is, again, like we discussed earlier, it is earmarked. So it might keep you from getting money that you need urgently to do something because you have money there waiting for a project that was there 4 or 5 years. I also asked about the deadlines. There are deadlines on this funding. The money going to go back? Because there are dates 2019 to 2021 that, come on, it's too long.
Yeah, and they write about it in the report as well, and they say, yes, we have to take measures to improve the functioning of the organization that deals with these projects, etc. But they say it, but is there a plan behind it? Is there somebody assigned to make sure, that this thing really happening, or
Yeah. And the problem is that all the activity that you're seeing is not us. The inconvenience that we have sometimes, they can't pass a road. It's holes being patched for other reasons, other companies, not government. So it makes you wonder, okay, what are we busy with? Like you said, millions being spent on the island, it should be visible.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing the activity, and that is why, indeed, it would have been, Carnival is not a highlight. A lot of Carnival talk happened in a meeting, and the things that you do see sometimes too, like finance building being repaired. I spoke about it already. Why are we pumping so much money in the mall?
Yeah.
It was a bad build from the beginning.
Yeah.
My grandfather, George Hemstrack, worked on this mall. And he died since I was 8. And he said back then it was a bad idea. I could remember that. And it's still here.
The whites.
Yeah, the white elephant that was refused on other islands. Asia took it. And now we still put the money on it, and we were going to be proud that it looked a little pretty because you hit it with some paint and a railing. It don't make no sense.
I think they did some windows too.
Oh, windows too? Sorry. We need to get out of that, and that's why I say we need to stop showing good money after bad. We're paying a lot of rent. When you see on the budget as well how much money is going into repairs for buildings that don't belong to us, but because we have the responsibility to make sure our civil servants are safe and can work, that we keep pumping money into buildings that we already pay rent for. It need to make sense. And of course I'm not going to let it go because I can't stand the fact that we voted against the Kotzgebouw. I will talk about it till I leave office, and maybe after that still. Because it was too much money then to spend. It was too much of a loan to take. We were leaving our children with a burden. But we rather than inherit bad government buildings, embarrassing looking government buildings, and that our civil servants can't work. We rather leave our those coming after us with that burden. And you don't think that then they will have to figure out how to go build a Kotzgebouw?
Yeah, they gotta clean up the terminal when they leave.
That too. We didn't mind leaving them with that. You need to know, pick your battles. And now to all the money, like you say, when I see the budget sometimes I be surprised. I be like, why are we talking about we have no money? We have a lot of money. We could have probably, maybe even without a loan or something. Come on, come on. Not only that, we lose the fact that we could have piggyback with the RCN.
Yep. Yep.
We could have piggyback with them. But they got tired of waiting, and rightfully so. So now you got to foot the cause by yourself. Now there's no talk maybe of a shared anything. Make it make sense. You lose a good hand because you voted against it, just because of some loans, and then you turn around still have to take some loans for all kind of other things. That don't make no sense at all. No sense at all. And like I say, the community needs to see that. You need to see that the choices that are being made, and especially those that affect you directly. And especially now you have millions on the budget and you won't see no movement happening. Why so many people don't understand it? We could have had work for our people.
Yep.
We could have had work. So we need to make some better choices in some, because this money is going to go back. It's not going to forever be a control people fat club yard. And especially if it's all of this up-putting.
Yeah, that's why we have to be prepared when that discussion comes, because it definitely gonna come.
And that is a problem, you know. That is what hurts, in the sense of that government is a continuous something, and that you have to answer for things that you had that happened during your time, but that you cannot justify. You know, there is an election coming up. If the powers that be change, how do you excuse this behavior? Should you even have to? But anybody that inherits this government in the next election, they have a lot of work cut out for them. A lot of work cut out for them. Because this isn't an inheritance of 4 years.
Yeah.
This is an inheritance from before the takeover. And there's a lot of things that went on that, you know, even from during the takeover, like the court case with Suku, you know, those are things that we inherit as a government. And with this, I'm pleading with those that even considering for running in the next election, come serious and come ready to work, and leave pettiness behind. You know, I had an interesting conversation this week with someone that obviously supports the leading party, and that doesn't take away from the fact that we can speak and have good conversations. And someone was listening, and they said to me, don't give me political talk, be honest, because I said I serve everyone. After election, I serve everyone. And he said that's a political answer. I said, no, that's the correct answer. I said, that would be so silly and stupid of you to think when you get in there, you can pick and choose who you serve. And that is not a mentality to have. If that is how you're going in, you think only who wore your colors is who you're going to serve, then stay out. Because that doesn't benefit anybody. Not because somebody wore opposite color to you, that means there are no benefit to the island. All of us are crayons in a box and we all have to contribute to the beautiful picture. And it makes no sense for you to be creating enemies and stagnating process because you wear a different color. It's a moment in time and it's a matter of thinking, but we have to find middle ground. And as long as people hold on to those kind of petty things, we will never get anywhere. So take it from me, Raquel, if that is the way you think you're coming in next election, stay out. Because we're not going to get anywhere.
That's an old.
Yeah.
You can't go back to that.
No.
But it shows you the mindset who you're talking to. Yeah.
The problem is that a lot of old politicians will continue and encourage that kind of behavior.
Carnival 2026. You wanted to say
No.
that? No?
I'm done.
We have a nice lineup, program
Definitely.
lineup. I think I'm too old for this carnival because I reading some of these things and to tell you the truth, I don't even know what it is they're talking about. Like for example, who is Rep Yup?
Rep your band.
Oh, Rep Your Band.
Rep your
Well, I
band.
was thinking that is a band name. Rep Your Band. I was trying to figure, oh, who is?
So that's a night when you don't rep your band,
No,
right?
just say
Oh, because that's when all our local bands come out, you wear your colors to support which band you like and so on. Those are nice nights.
Caribbean Pulse, Rhythm Up, Calm Before the Storm.
Yes.
I bought a ticket for Carnival Sculpture.
That is which
I
night?
know what that is.
That is the 19th. That's Saturday night
That is
or
Onion.
Sunday night? Onion.
And I think I got it here on the
I thought Onion canceled all their performances because someone was sick.
yeah?
Oh, Burning Flames. Oh, also Onion alone, not Burning Flames alone.
Okay. You see it on,
Okay.
that's Carnival Sculpture. I know
Yeah.
I have that ticket to show.
Okay, the
Because that one I
19th.
understand. These young people sing.
Yes, I was looking at the lineup for tonight's too, and I too was saying half of these bands I don't know. I mean, I went to the village last night with my daughter, and as the songs are playing, she was saying, oh, they're bringing this person to who's singing this. I'm like, who is singing this? And so it's a young people thing indeed, Ernie, maybe we too old.
No Queen show.
No,
No
no Queen
Calypso
show.
show.
No.
I noticed that they bring a lot of bands instead of single
Single
artists.
artists.
You know,
Yes.
bands more expensive,
Yes.
more people.
Mm-hmm.
So you have more expense. And I
Definitely.
think that's leading to the big money.
That is right.
Advance is $55, 65, 65. Poor youth night they give us 15.
Yes.
Flavor Invasion 65. Bacchanal Friday 60. You know, I'm thinking. Normally, if I go to Carnival, I don't even study the price. When I go by the gate, I go inside.
Yeah.
But when you bring out these type of prices and you put it in my face, so now I gotta study here.
You gotta choose.
What am I doing? You know?
I think, you know, and I think a lot of people thought like you. A lot of people, I think, have invested because I think they said they had a record sale of the season pass.
Yeah.
Because if you look at maybe 2 or 3 of these big nights, you almost have your season pass price, which allows you every night entry. So I think most people weigh out their options indeed. Like it makes more sense to buy a season pass. And even the payment plan that was allowed with the season pass, you didn't have to pay all one time,
That was okay.
you know, so that was very, very smart. So the season pass thing is heavy now. I just have, yeah. It is very expensive, especially families want to go in.
Yeah.
You know, not every night is a night for a pram and a child, but that is my opinion, you know, because I even see babysitting services, so everybody trying to get a little dig in. Yeah, from 8 to 8, I find that a long time to have a child, especially several of them mining. But hey, to each your own, I wouldn't do it. But, you know, people are trying to accommodate the season, you know, make it possible for everybody to enjoy. But like you say, it is taxing on your budget. And I do want to remind everyone, you know, I made a joke in the office and I told everyone, be mindful that our July salary has to buy those uniforms in August. So there are other expenses coming up. So we do need to be mindful of how we spend our dollars. School starts on the 16th, so it's not close to 110. So be mindful.
And I noticed the boot holders, they are creative. Some of them
Very.
are on videos. Some
They
of them
went all out.
see pictures of
Yes.
the things that you can buy. They have their signage on the boots.
Mhm.
So, and you have the midday market.
Lunch, yeah.
Say where boot holders can use that to.
Yes, and we have years since to expand it to sometimes breakfast and all. So those that choose to do the 3 services per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, it's very taxing on the boot holders as well. You know, sometimes there's a small team that has to go 24 hours. It's not easy. So
I know last year they had food delivery now.
they do this here too. They do this here as well. So like I said, it creates a niche for everyone. It is just out there for you to tap into.
Yes. Smoke from the Makana Ferry sparks concern among Sabre residents.
Not Sabre residents alone.
I,
Everybody that uses the Makana was concerned.
I saw the video.
Uh-huh.
My,
So did I.
my cousin Eddie sent it to me.
Mm.
Thank you, Eddie Sparham. And I see this other smoke coming out.
Mhm.
It was, how do you say it? It was worrisome.
Definitely.
Because it had people on board. I think it was going to Sabre, maybe to go to St. Martin.
Yes.
And
And I think of course, as a company, you have to do damage control. So they responded, you know, that it was not on fire,
yeah.
and kind of offended that people said that. But yeah,
But you know,
there's a saying, there's where there's smoke, there's fire.
You talk about what you see.
What you
This is
see,
video,
you
this is the
know,
smoke, so you
You
go
think
take
there's fire.
Yes.
And I think, you know, fully refunding people that didn't dare to go back on it after they stopped in Sabre should have been better understood. And I don't even know if a refund allowed them a one-way ticket to St. Martin. And then how soon they got that flight. You know, but for safety reasons at that moment, you know, if you can't get a flight, then you're left with taking hotel too, you know, for the next day. And maybe you had cargo bags that surpassed the weight allowed on the plane. So there were many factors to take into consideration, and I find just refunding them their trip, you know, meaning in other words, it was your choice not to continue your trip.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't fair. That didn't sound too fair at all. You know, because if something is smoking, I'm definitely not going to sit on it another hour.
Yeah. Even though it was a mechanical
Yeah.
issue and not a fire.
Not only that, the fact it was probably longer than an hour because it was mechanical failure. So the engines then were disturbed. So that means it couldn't work as hard as it normally would. So it took longer to reach. So I'm there even longer with the risk that it could have escalated to more than just smoke.
And if you're smoking from Stacia to St. Martin, imagine, I mean from Stacia to Sabre, imagine from
Sabre to St. Martin.
You know,
Mm-mm.
yeah. Now the PLP make use of that crisis to talk about the rescue boat, and that the governor Alida Francis to issue former coordinator Leonardo Cotard with a declaration of good. So she refused to issue him a declaration of good behavior.
And this is where you're reading from? The best reporter?
Yeah, this is the best reporter. So they sent an article to the best reporter, St. Eustatius now has a dedicated rescue vessel, but no active rescue team following the refusal by Governor Alida Francis to issue former coordinator Leonardo Quarter with a declaration of good behavior, VOG. So because she didn't issue him a declaration of good behavior, we don't have a active rescue team.
But it only refers to one person of the team. The rest, they didn't get a VOG either.
Yeah,
Was it valid for the entire team?
No, one person. And I understand that person in protest convinced the others to pull away from the VOG, the rescue team. And so now they have to look for they have to recruit new people for the rescue team, and they have to probably train them as well.
That is very unfortunate and very self-serving, to say the least. If you are interested in the well-being of our people and the service that this can provide, we will separate the two issues while the battle is fought for acquiring the necessary documents, which is under the VOG. The rest of the team can continue. An investment has been made in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunate that a personal fight is causing the entire island to not be able to make use of a particular area. This wasn't needed to escalate to this. You understand? We need to separate issues and not drag others down along with you.
Yeah, and the thing is, my opinion is, many times if there's a dispute with regard to a VOG or not, the people concerned understand exactly what the issues are. The public don't, because those are private matters.
Yes.
They're not privy to that. And many times the persons involved know exactly what is what and why certain things were done, and I don't know. I cannot get into details about that.
Things that we don't know.
But there is consequences to behavior.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't want to accept consequences. Even the person who is supporting, the person, they probably don't even have the information to understand what is what.
But you have to be very mindful of what you tend to fight, what battles you choose to fight on behalf of others without having the correct information. You understand? And I always encourage people to fight for their rights, whether I agree with you or not. If it's your right, then fight it the right way and take it to court, because nobody's above the law. If the governor in question that is being accused of doing something did something wrong, then that will be proven at that moment as well. But then the court needs to hear both sides, what transpired, and other information, like you said earlier, that the public is not privy to, will come to light at that moment, and then a decision can be made, But the problem is with this, and especially via this medium, they are known for bringing things out there in a way that slanders somebody and isn't always based on facts. And that I find is very unfortunate, because in the midst, this may never go any further than this, and then the accusation will hang. It will just always remain there hanging, and we will never know the truth of the matter. Was it truly done the way it was, put in the way in this paper, or this source of media on Facebook, or was it something completely different? We will never know. The fact is, we live in a small community, and accusation sometimes is enough to destroy people. We need to be very careful with the things that we shout and the fingers that we point. You understand? Because they can point the other way too. You understand? There are consequences sometimes for slandering people's name, especially the way you do it. People can retaliate. So make sure that it is worth it, and you're ready for the lashback.
I play a lot of basketball here in Station, and if I'm not satisfied, let's say they do me something, they tell me I cannot participate anymore, or It's against me. I cannot go and destroy the whole basketball for everybody else who wants to play. You know, it's something that I
It's a personal
enjoy.
battle, yeah.
You know, even though I feel maybe I'm not able to participate anymore, why would I do something to stop other
The
people?
entire sport.
You know,
Hmm.
and that's what I feel. You know, sometimes you have to take the loss, even if you don't agree. You live to fight it another day. Maybe there's another opportunity somewhere down the road.
Precisely.
But you do not go and break up everything just because you feel that maybe you were slighted or this or that. You know?
Yeah, but for argument's sake, if you are correct and you put everyone's in interest above your own, not just yourself, if things like this are common practice, then maybe this is your opportunity now to bring this to light. So indeed, like you said, fight it the right way. And
But suppose something happened now
Yeah.
with the Makana.
precisely, would they refuse to? Is this the interest of the people that you have at heart? No, not this way. Not this way. It's unfortunate that the rest, whoever they are, joined because this is not the way.
And with that, we had some other topics, but I think that we don't
Yeah,
have the
those
time
are
to
time.
go into them. Purchasing power rises over 10% on Century Stations in 2024.
And then I have a picture of the most
You know
expensive,
what to say?
most expensive shopping bonnier from the trail. That's the entrance to Van the Trail. But you can't see it because of the angle, but that's,
I wonder if the Carnival Committee realized that the
yeah.
purchasing power went up, so that I had a little money on
Yeah.
tickets, I don't know.
I wonder if the back pay that the civil service got is part of this CBS. Makes it look like everybody got more money. But,
Well, they say the raise in minimum wage and
exactly.
the pension, I think it's the
The
pension
threshold.
and so
Mhm.
those things went up. So
Yes.
basically, they're looking at that group of which is a sizable group
Yeah.
in the whole to say, well, you know, the purchasing power went up.
But everything else went up too. So, groceries went up too.
I know exactly how
So,
they add
yeah,
to the mix.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But
Is there any final word
Yes.
you have today?
I would like to just end with how we started, wishing everyone a safe and enjoyable carnival. We too will be taking a break. It is recess time, so it will be good to take a much needed break. We will be back in August, the second week. I think it's the 14th. We will be back live to bring you more information from what is going on politically on the island and everything else that we feel matters to our people, as usual. So we want to wish you all a very great summer holiday. What I must say, I noticed, Ernie, I didn't recognize Nelly. I don't want to exaggerate, but a lot of faces passed me last night. I'm like, who is that? So there are a lot of new faces on the island, some old that are back on the island, but we have a lot of people on the island for whatever reason. So I hope we can enjoy it with our family, loved ones, friends who are visiting with us, and children that are leaving for the first time. We want to wish them all the best. We won't be back before that time, so we want to wish you Godspeed. Remember what you're going for. Keep your goals first and foremost, and achieving your goals should be number one. We wish you all the best, and that you can come back to make a good contribution to your island.
That's right. Be careful, be aware,
Yes.
be safe. You know, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy the carnival, but we also want to be safe because when tragedy happens, there's no fun in that. So we want to keep it nice, we want to keep it cool. And with that, I would like to thank the radio station for carrying our program. I want to thank our viewers and listeners for tuning in. And I want to thank my guests for being here today. And we invite you to continue to support the Democratic Party of Central Asia's radio program. I thank you very much.
Empire Radio. Level.
Your Empire Radio.